Yo, what's going on YouTube? Jeezy TV, back with another video, and we are here with Breaking Bad Season 2, Episode 11. We have 2 more episodes in the season, and things are getting kind of crazy. It gets kind of intense at the end. Not much at the start. I'm sorry I missed my news segment last night. I don't know, man. News this weekend was kind of lame. Summer Smash and Something in the Water are going on, 2 big festivals. I wish I could go to them, but it's probably a lot of money to get in, so I just decided not to. We're going to start the episode off with Combo meeting his demise. He's selling drugs in a corner when he notices 2 rival drug dealers staring him down. He is then killed by a young boy working for them, which is insane to see a kid kill someone in this show. I never thought I'd see that. Skinny Pete, spooked by Combo's death and Badger's recent brush with the law, decides to quit the drug trade. I don't blame him. I mean, although they need Skinny Pete, he is a human just like us. He shouldn't be treated like a slave anymore. His feelings should definitely be taken into account. Walt and Jesse meet with Saul to discuss their next move. I mean, you're asking a lawyer what to do about selling drugs. It sounds kind of crazy, but he's all in. He tells them that they are incompetent distributors and need a businessman who is more restrained than Tuco and will buy their product in bulk. Tuco is kind of a crazy guy that was in this series, and they need someone that's more calm and more business-like, more professional, more careful about what they do. Tuco always had a target on his back because of all the shenanigans he pull. He offers to reach out to the only distributor of that kind he has heard of, but it will be difficult as the man is extremely cautious. I don't blame him. Being in the drug trade, you kind of have to be careful. This guy is really, really careful. He works like a high-profile job, so he almost needs to be more careful even than the average drug kingpin. Jesse is distraught that he got Combo killed. Yeah, he kind of did. And that night tells Jane to leave his apartment so that he does not harm her recovery when he smokes meth. Good guy. I like that move. Jane reluctantly decides to stay with him. He told you to leave. The next day, Walt waits at a local chicken restaurant called Los Pollos Hermanos, where the distributor has arranged to meet them. He is the owner of the restaurant, which is a very dangerous game, owning a restaurant like this. And also being a part of the drug trade. I mean, he must be a very, very careful guy if he's been able to hold this job for so much. Jesse comes in late, still high, and leaves quickly afterwards. Typical Jesse. Is never on his shit, really. He's kind of slowed Walt down a little bit. At least he distributed for a while, though. Nobody talks to Walt, but he realizes later that the distributor saw him and has refused to work with him. Yeah. I mean, he can't trust anybody. He probably saw Jesse and was like, oh, hell no. These guys smoke the shit. I don't smoke the shit. I'm just a businessman, right? Meanwhile, Jane relapses into drug addiction and introduces Jesse to heroin. Very, very sad, unfortunate for Jane. The next day, Walt goes back to the same restaurant and waits until closing. He eventually realizes that the man he assumes is the restaurant manager is the distributor. So Walt was kind of smart for figuring this guy out, or otherwise he probably never would have if he didn't realize that. Although the distributor maintains he is unwilling to work with a drug addict, Walt is not a drug addict, but Jesse is. Walt assures him that Jesse can be relied on and that their product is the best. I don't know if he's really going to prove it to him that well, but yeah. The distributor tells Walt that he will be in touch if he decides to work with the duo, and warns Walt never to trust a drug addict. Giving him some words of wisdom in the drug industry. This guy's probably been there, done that. So yeah, moving on to the Skylar part of the situation, her at work. It's kind of like a little bitty snippet of a show like The Office. It definitely reminds me of that, her storyline right now. Skylar helps the company celebrate her boss Ted's birthday, where she sings him a sultry version of Happy Birthday, Mr. President. Very weird. It's very romantic. I don't know if I like Skylar getting into that. She later finds, while investigating the accounts, that there are many inaccuracies in the payments to the company. So Ted is being very corrupt with his business, and she's not liking it at all. They could get in trouble. Ted admits that he has evaded taxation on millions of dollars by underreporting revenue to keep the company afloat and support its employees. I mean, I guess he's got to do what he's got to do, but it's still not a good thing that Ted is doing all of this. Skylar says she will not turn him in, but cannot be a part of his illegal doings. However, she later comes back to work. So she was thinking about quitting. She's like, dude, this guy's going to get in trouble, and everyone in the company for contributing to this is going to get even worse trouble. Walt gets a message telling him to come to the restaurant, where he learns that the distributor is not the restaurant manager, but the owner of the Los Pollos Hermanos chain of stores, Gus Fring. That's insane. So, like, we thought he was the manager at first, but it turns out that he owned the whole fucking chain, and he is a drug lord. So that's insane. It is a pretty good cover-up, I guess. That's what he's doing it for. He owns the places to kind of cover up. The actual manager, who appears oblivious to Gus's criminal activities, maybe behind closed doors, he's got people covering him. He's probably blackmailed them. Tells Walt that Gus is not currently at the store. Just as Walt is about to leave, an associate of Gus named Victor blocks him from exiting and tells him to deliver the meth to a truck stop within the next hour in exchange for $1.2 million cash. So yeah, Walt and them, they don't have to distribute it. That was kind of the whole point of the thing. As long as he gives Gus the meth safely, he's going to get $1.2 million. Obviously, him and Jesse are going to get like $600,000 each, which is insane. Walt rushes to Jesse's apartment and breaks in while Jesse and Jane are in a heroin-induced haze. It's very bad timing because Walt's making all these dealings and Jesse's just sitting back smoking. At the same time, Skylar goes into labor and tries to contact Walt. Walt is tortured about his choice, but decides to go make the transaction anyway. It's a bad move, but I would probably turn down the birth of my daughter for $600,000. Skylar doesn't know it, and that's kind of the bad thing in Walt's case. She doesn't know that he's going to be getting $600,000 because she still thinks that their treatment is being paid for by what's their names? The Schwartzes. The Schwartzes are paying it off, so she thinks that's their money. But this whole time, Walt is toughing up, and he's put all the money in, even though the Schwartzes have an easy connection. But it would look pretty suspicious if Walt pays for the treatment and then still has a bunch of money left over, so that's gonna make Skylar know that he kind of did something, you know. It's a pretty good album. Pretty good episode. It's kind of a slower paced episode. Everything just crumbles down to the end, and I'm sure episode 12 is gonna be a great one. It's probably like a high 8 out of 10 episode. It was about the episode was kind of about crossing lines. It's the beginning of the setup for the finale, kind of setting it up, closing the book on this episode almost, trying to get that started. It's probably like a B episode. It's inevitable that we'd have a merely good episode at some point, and I thought that the episode seemed to be mostly concerned with moving the pieces into place for the finale. Again, just the setup of the whole thing is kind of like what they were going for. It's kind of a filler episode, but at the same time, some crazy stuff happens in the episode. Combo gets killed by a little kid, which is crazy to think about. You got so much street cred, you're out here moving weight, and the way you died was by a little kid. You got fucking caught lacking. It's definitely not one of the worst episodes we've seen so far. But that doesn't mean it served its purpose. But, like, in terms of an entertainment level, I wasn't really that entertained while watching the episode. It was just kind of, alright, we're building this thing up, and we're just going to drop it down at the end of the season. And I like what they're doing, and I'm really excited because I'm probably going to watch, probably in about half an hour here, after I do my Euphoria video, after I do my weekly track roundup, I'm probably going to watch the 12th episode of Breaking Bad. It's going to get crazy. Can't wait.